Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. We are just a couple of days away from double eviction night, and there is drama. A lot of drama going on in the house.
Absolutely. Vince having some regrets over his decision, as he should. Yes.
Oh, there are consequences to your actions, Vince. You make a bad move, and then you're like, oh, I made a bad move. I'm going to get emotional and upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, it resulted in a fight with Vince and Morgan where things actually got quite heated.
Yeah, it was definitely the most tense I have seen things between the two of them. It's like, yeah, we've seen them have arguments, have spats,
Yep.
but this is something that, it played out some last night, it played out some this morning. Like, it feels like they're, I guess, working through some things, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's just going to sit between the two of them because we're talking here about a situation where what happened with the veto ceremony yesterday and Vince ultimately putting Lauren up on the block. It's a game move, but it's also a game move that Vince feels silly about. And I think because of that, you're adding in all of these personal elements, and he has a very close relationship with Morgan, and that's complicating things even more.
Yeah, he's absolutely driving around in the clown car. It's just this move was so incredibly bad. And I understand that if you're sort of getting badgered and badgered and badgered, eventually you're just like, oh my God, all right, I'll do it. Just stop already. But now that this has all happened and it hasn't really stopped, it like still there's fighting about it and it's still going on. At this point, this is where Vince is kind of like, oh my God, I did what you wanted me to do. Now I'm here. I feel like a big dum-dum about it, but you're still like on me about stuff. So did I really give you anything you wanted anyways? Because it sure doesn't feel like it.
We're going to try to document all of this mess. There is definitely a lot of it, but we'll get into as well the state of the vote, what Keanu is doing, conversations between Vince and Lauren, and a whole lot more. But before we dive into any of it here, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are here every day with Big Brother 27 live feed updates, and we just have a great time doing this. We're gearing up for Survivor 49, the amazing race that's featuring all Big Brother house guests and their loved ones. And tomorrow there is the premiere of Gen V season 2 on Prime Video, and we are going to be here breaking that down. We love the whole greater world of The Boys and all of its craziness.
Absolutely. There is a lot going on here at the channel, so hit that subscribe button and stick with us. And if you want to talk about Big Brother further with us, we have chat and polls and discussion, all kinds of things going on over on our Patreon. So I'll leave a link for that down below in the description if you want to join and help support us here at the channel.
Thank you guys so much for your support there. Okay, so here is the basic foundation of everything with Vince and Morgan. It's like both complicated and really simple at the same time, where they'll talk and talk and talk about things on end. But I think it really, really just boils down to, and I think this is why Vince raised his voice at Morgan a little bit today. He tried to walk out of the room. He kind of shut the door on her, not completely, but kind of did it. It all kind of stems from this idea that this person, who I believe to be one of the closest people in the house to me, had me do something that I know is really, really bad and dumb for my game. And I willingly did it. Like, it's also on me. I'm mad about this, but I can't be that mad about it because I still need her to work with me.
This is the thing. Yes, Morgan badgered him into doing it.
Yes.
But it's entirely Vince's decision on whether or not he's going to do it or not. He could have said no, and he could have put his foot down. He could have, if she decided to, take anybody off the block and use a veto, he could have put up Ashley. He could have done all kinds of other things. But because, he let Morgan push him around, she got what she wanted. Now he made that decision. He decided to do this. He truly doesn't have anyone to blame but himself. He can be upset about it. He can be upset that she badgered him. No problem. But you, Vince, still made this decision. And I know he's out there being worried, like, oh, America's going to think I'm a dum-dum. People are going to be talking about me. Yeah, there are people out there that are talking about you. We're talking about you as well. Do I
Yes.
think that you're a dum dum for it? No, I think that you have a very close relationship with Morgan. You're working with her and you want to be able to keep that alliance together. And I do think that you were in a lot of conversations that went on for hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours, and you can break people by doing that.
Yeah.
But you still made that decision, and it is a bad decision. I don't think you're a dum dum for it, but I think you've made a very bad game move, and you are going to go in this double right after Lauren. It'll be Lauren, it'll be you.
It feels like this situation where he's upset at himself, so he's taking out some of this frustration on Morgan. He's also frustrated with Morgan, so he's adding that, like him saying things sort of like, oh, you've been controlling my HOH.
Yes.
Everybody's gonna feel like you're controlling. It's like
Yes.
saying none of this. It's not helpful to anything. It's not gonna make Morgan feel great. I know you're not really trying to make Morgan feel great when you said it, but it's not really making you feel any better about yourself either. It kind of just feels, as weird and almost unhealthy as this is, that he and Morgan now are basically in this competition of who can self-pity themselves to the other person the most, because Vince just is going on and on about like how terrible this is, how stupid he feels, how America's gonna look at him, how he can't win the game. And then Morgan is doing her whole, am I a bad person for doing this move? Making
No.
you get, she's just doing this whole thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, Morgan, you're not a bad person for getting what you want out of this game to win the money. That's what everybody's doing in this game.
Yes.
You were able to actually convince the HOH to put up like one of his number one allies.
Yeah.
Great move.
Yeah.
I don't love that you had to badger him into it for like 30-hour conversations, but you had to do what you had to do to get what you wanted, and you did.
Yeah.
And then now you're in this self-pity thing, which is also a good move to be like, oh, I'm sorry, poor me, whatever, to gain sympathy. That works in Big Brother too.
Yeah. I think in life, the advice I would give is you guys just need to get away from each other for a little while.
Oh, yeah, in
Just-
life, yes.
But this, unfortunately, is not life. And because of that, they have to continue to be stuck with each other, where they have to repress certain frustrations because they still need each other in the game. And Vince is having to sit back now and be like, I guess I have to trust you that you're going to do what I want. And that is not send Lauren out the door. And I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But if you're Vince and you're talking about one of your closest allies, like, this is a really hard place to be in.
Yeah, but he put himself in this spot. Like, he put his closest ally on the block. Why would you ever do that? Because Morgan wants you to? She still would have worked with you if you didn't. You would just have the same conversations that you've been having anyways. Like, it clearly hasn't stopped any of these conversations. You didn't get any relief from doing this. She didn't get any relief from doing this. And now you're going to lose Lauren.
So they've kind of sort of patched some things up, but I think we all just need to be realistic here for a moment and just brace ourselves, put your hard hats on. This is just going to be a cycle. Like, every day, or well, it's not like there's that many days, but every hour between now and the double eviction, they're probably just going to play this out again and again and not get anywhere because they just really don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I think that's that's part of the game, right, of Big Brother, is that you are stuck in a house with nothing to do except think yourself to death. And that's part of the social experiment and the experiment in general with this show, is how do you get through this type of a situation when there is nothing for you to do to take your mind off of it?
So Morgan at least decides eventually, okay, you know what? I'm going to go and just try to talk to a sounding board for a little bit. And you know who's everyone's number one sounding board right now in the game, who's just ready to greet everybody with open arms?
Yeah.
It's Ashley.
I know.
Ashley has just put herself in this great position with a lot of people at this point, and being able to talk to Ashley has helped Morgan realize, I did do 100% the right thing. I'm mad at myself because I spiraled about it. I overthought it, all the reactions that have come of it. Like, she has tried to downplay that, like, okay, the fight with Vince, it's not that bad. I think she's trying still, despite everything that they've gone through, to not paint too big a target on Vince, because I still feel like, despite all this craziness, she wants to go to the final two with Vince.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think that she needs to get Lauren out this week, get Vince out on the double, and then I think she's won the game. But I think she's going to beat Vince as well. This move
Yeah.
has won her the game. Everybody should want Morgan out.
Yes, 100%. And I think Morgan needs to just realize that, okay, if Lauren does go, it's going to make Vince upset, but this is going to be a brilliant move for me. I'm just going to have to
Yes.
do a lot of things. Whether it's win my way to the end, hope Ashley doesn't want to get rid of me. And like, there's a lot of different components that could go into it. But Ashley does encourage Morgan. It's just like, okay, get your head in the game here. Like, you are here to play your own game. Like, you're not here to just make friends with Vince.
Absolutely. And I mean, if Vince really takes the time to think about this, he knows, he has said that he's worried that America and everyone's going to think that this is Morgan's big move, because it is Morgan's big move. So he's got to know in his heart of hearts, he can't take her to the end, that if he's the person that's going to the end, he cannot bring her.
Okay, now, Ashley, let's just have a little talk with you for a moment here, because
Mm-hmm.
you have been a very, very improved player the past month or so.
Yep.
But one of your downfalls has always been just a little bit messy. Okay, sometimes you're a lot messy. I don't think you can help yourself.
I love the mess.
The mess is fun.
I
and this
can't help myself.
Ashley is great television because
Yes, she
she's messy, but it's like in the midst of this encouragement session with Morgan, she also brings up, and she's like, Lauren, she and Vince are really, 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 really close, Morg. And she's just framing it in this way where I'm sitting back and I'm just being like, are you trying to rile Morgan up? Like, are you trying to make her want to get Lauren out this week even more because this is what you want? Like, there's a part of me that's like, okay, this might be brilliant, Ashley, but if someone else can tell how just utterly non-transparent you're being with all of this and how obvious it is, like, aren't they going to be like, why are you stirring the pot, Ashley?
Yeah, but the person that she's talking to is Morgan, and Morgan is a spinning top right now when it's anything to do with Lauren. This whole thing has been about, to me, from what, my perspective, that Morgan wants it to be Vince that gets Lauren out, that it has to be Vince or it doesn't make any difference to her. It has to be him proving his loyalty. So Ashley's saying this, if this is game where she's just like, you know what, I'm here trying to help Morgan through this or whatever, but actually I need her to continue spinning out of control with Vince so that there's nobody watching me and there's no eyes on me. The eyes need to continue to be on the bigger targets, which are Morgan and Vince.
Yeah, and I think Ashley is more than fine to just continue to have that be the case. Like, we talked about this. She's already told us, the live feeders, that she doesn't really want to go to the end with Morgan. Like, she wants to go possibly even with Kelly because she knows that she can beat Kelly. And like, that's a potentially attractive audience. I mean, just an attractive opponent for her.
Yeah.
So Ashley's already actively thinking a lot about this. Because she's a sounding board, she has listened to a lot of what other people have said. And I mean, Morgan has just complained so much, and even some of it's little things, but how she gets upset that, oh, Vince is just hanging out with Lauren. They're playing pool, and it's just like, all Vince and I ever do is strategize. And whenever I hear that, I'm just like, well, you could try to do something too. I know some of it's on Vince, but it's also on you, Morgan.
Yeah.
But it's just, she gets upset about these little things, and Ashley can then latch onto that and then try to use that to her advantage.
Yeah. And I mean, Morgan, if she just had a chance to really think about it, she would understand that the bulk of their strategizing and why it's been like this is because Morgan has a very specific thing that she wants, which is Vince to get out Lauren. That's what she wants. And because Vince doesn't want to do that, it's going to take this amount of time where you guys can't just be shooting pool or having a swim or relaxing.
So I just feel like at this point, Ashley is thinking, okay, I need to make sure there's a little bit of distance between Morgan and some other people. So she knows that, okay, I'm not going to do you like this, Morgan. I'm going to make sure you're always my number one. So I'm going to suggest that Vince may be closer to Lauren than he is to you, even after this nomination. And then she also really talks Morgan through something and I think this is one of the big reasons why this relationship between Morgan and Vince is just like so complicated and difficult, is because At one point during all of this back and forth veto ceremony before and after, Vince sort of put this out there that it's like, okay, if you're using me to get rid of Lauren this week and
Hmm.
you're really out to betray me in this way,
Hmm.
I don't know if I can be friends with you outside the game. Like,
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's walked that back and he's tried to be like, no, 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 but he's still said that. And
Hmm.
Ashley, of course, is just like, Morgan, that's not right. Nobody should do that to you. So she's just like gassing Morgan up to feel bad about Vince and Vince doing that.
Absolutely. If Morgan ends up in the situation where she can take someone and Morgan is really like dying on the hill that I'm going to take Vince, I'm going to
Yeah.
take Vince, Ashley needs to break that up.
Yes. And I think she will do whatever she can subtly to try to make this happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes Ashley is not that subtle, but I think she's going to continue to plant seeds. And that's fine because I feel like a lot of this week, or at least these couple of days, are a lot about planting seeds.
Hmm.
Because let's just talk more about the could Lauren actually leave this
Right.
week? Because we talked about yesterday, okay, some seeds have been planted by Morgan already,
Yeah.
but there hasn't been this full on, okay, we're 100% getting rid of Lauren, Ashley, Morgan, and then Keanu. Like, if Keanu wins the blockbuster, these three can come together, get rid of Lauren. They don't even need Vince to be involved in it.
Absolutely. And being quiet about it right now, it's actually kind of the best move because you don't need anything getting back to Vince
No.
and then having all these more discussions and fights or whatever. Morgan has to be able to continue to claim that, poor me, I didn't know, I feel so bad, but she can't do that if she's starting already. It's only Tuesday, pushing that agenda. It has to be a lot closer.
Yeah, and I think one thing Morgan's trying to do with at least Vince, because I think at the very least she wants to be able to justify. Because let's say
Hmm.
Keanu comes off the block and they do evict Lauren in this sort of 3-1 decision.
Yeah,
She wants to be able to explain it to Vince afterwards and be like, okay, this is why
this
we
happened.
did. Yeah, and so she's trying to just sort of paint this. We obviously all have our fears about Keanu, but Kelly, like, Kelly's not that much of a challenge threat as you think, Vince. Yeah, she's won a lot of blockbusters.
Yes, she has.
Yeah, but I think she's really trying to paint this like, okay, she's not going to go on this really, really big comp run. Like, I think she's trying to paint this picture that because Lauren has won HOHs and a veto, that like by virtue of that, she's a bigger comp threat than somebody who has won a bunch of blockbusters.
Yeah, and it's a very weak argument, but I understand why she's trying to get something on the board.
She's trying to get something on the board.
The real thing she just needs to get on the board is that Kelly loses to everyone, and that's why she needs to go because every single person in this house will just take Kelly to the end because everyone beats her.
Yeah, like there are just so many other specific arguments that could be made that might still be made. Like there is a little bit of time in here.
Mhm.
But we'll transition now over to what's happening with Vince and Lauren. And like, there's a part of this that's just so bizarre and so strange because everyone in the house, even if they're not vocalizing how upset they are that Vince and Morgan monopolize all this time with each other, it's another good reason, as you have said already, that Vince is probably going to go in the double eviction.
Absolutely. That needs to get busted up.
Yeah, it's like so many people are very, very aware of it. Like at one point, even today, Kelly like goes in, interrupts the two of them because she's trying to be, I guess, Lauren's sidekick, and Lauren's not getting this time to talk to Vince, and she's
Right.
trying to. It's just like this is the situation that has come up because clearly, Morgan doesn't want Vince to talk with Lauren, but at the same
No.
time, it has to happen at some point because it's just going to look so obviously unfair, and I don't think that's a hill that Morgan can really stand on.
We've seen that gameplay before on Big Brother, though, where they don't want somebody to be talking to
Yes.
someone else and they just follow them from room to room to room to room for days on end.
So Vince's whole strategy right now is just, I'm going to continue to try to lie to Lauren and hope that I don't get faced with a situation where I have to choose between Keanu and Kelly and there's some
Right.
tie vote because Lauren ends up winning the blockbuster. Lauren, and we talked about this yesterday, she is of the belief that Vince is going to take out Keanu rather than Kelly because that
Mhm.
is what Vince has said.
Yes.
He is still continuing to say this, even though we're getting closer and closer. And I'm just sitting back and I'm wondering, at what point are you gonna try to come clean? Not just drop hints, but actually like really come clean to her.
Yeah, he really needs to get his head on straight and come clean to her. She's going to end up being a jury vote, and
Yes.
she is someone that could vote for you if you do not send her out looking like a clown. Like, you really need to fix this.
Yeah, and she has basically told him that if you do get rid of Kelly and you're lying to me and you've just sort of spun me around yet again, like our relationship may be done. I mean, we can sit back and be like, okay, is it really? Do we believe this? Because she's kind of talking with them still, but it's a worry that Vince needs to have.
Absolutely. I mean, it's good that she is continuing to talk with him so that she's not icing him out now and
Yeah.
continuing to play pool and have fun time and all of this stuff so that he will feel that sting when she leaves or if Kelly ends up leaving.
Okay, so I know there are a lot of reasons why Vince leaves a bad taste in certain people's mouths with the way in which he plays. And I think a fine example of it is in this dynamic between him and Lauren. He is willingly allowing and letting Morgan come across as the bad person in all of this, to just throw Morgan under the bus as much as possible, blame Morgan for everything that happened with Lauren going up on the block, to the point where Lauren, like, she knows that Vince is responsible for his own actions. Like, she is aware of that, but she is also telling him, yeah, Morgan blew up your game, Vince. Like, everything that is happening to you right now, it's because of Morgan. And Vince somewhat effectively has sort of steered everything to where Morgan is the just bona fide 110% target for Lauren.
Yeah, which is really interesting because him even going to Lauren and saying, "Oh, this is all because of Morgan. Morgan did
Yeah.
all of this." If I was Lauren, I'd just be sitting there being like, "Okay, so Morgan is running your HOH.
Yes.
You are not running anything. So when I go to jury, then my vote goes to Morgan?"
Okay, like the craziest thing about all of this to me is that Vince is still doing his woe is me act to Lauren. And Lauren's the person you put on the block. And Lauren is sitting here having to encourage Vince and be like, we can still make it to the end together, Vince. Like, your game is not over. And it's just like, why are you giving him the pep talk?
Because you just never know how things are going to end up shaking out. You may need to continue to work with Vince. What if she is in a situation where Kelly goes home and her numbers are down? You never know in this game, and you have to be able to just tell people what they need to hear to get to the end. Everybody is so close.
All right, let's go into Keanu's corner here for a moment here, because we have not spoken of our guy Keanu all that much in the past couple of days.
Yeah.
Here's the surprising thing. He's actually kind of laying low for him, and I think a lot of it is he has kind of deluded himself into thinking that he's going to be safe no matter what this week. So I think he's telling himself that, okay, I don't need to do too much here. I mean, the reality is he has a good chance of staying versus Kelly after the blockbuster. If it's him and Lauren, Keanu's going to be sent out the door, and he's not really aware of that. Like, he has informed us that Lauren and Morgan, they are his next two targets, and that Vince is going to take him to final two, because this is the delusion, Keanu, you are forever going to hold to.
It's just amazing how many people think that Vince is taking them to the final two. This is Tyler all over again. You cannot have 3 and 4 people thinking you're taking them to the final two, and there is only this many people left.
Yeah, it is crazy. And I mean, it's crazy that Keanu even thinks this. It's crazy that Keanu...
It is.
It's just crazy Keanu thinks a lot of things, because he told Kelly also that he was just like, if I actually trusted everybody, I would throw the blockbuster and make sure that, you're able to stick around or you can win. And it's just, I don't think he's going to throw the blockbuster.
No.
Let me make that very, very clear.
No, there's so many people that have said that they were going to throw the blockbuster, sabotage the block, and like, it's not a thing.
Yeah, Keanu's delusional. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the most delusional players we've ever had, but it's just like, he's a competitor. He's going to want to win this, but I think he will do a little bit of campaigning eventually. I don't think he's not going to do anything, but he's kind of playing it low key. Lauren is starting to do a little campaigning, though she's
Mhm.
also kind of very reluctant in doing so and talking about how she doesn't really want to do it.
I know, but you have to do it.
You,
I know.
Lauren feels like,
Wishy-washy, don't want to do it. I get it, but you have to.
yeah,
You're on the block. You're this close to the end of the game. It's time.
it is 100% time. Lauren just frustrated because you're a fan. I don't understand your entire game in general here.
I know.
But let's circle back here to Ashley at the end of all of this, because we're already seeing that Ashley, okay, you're trying to sort of pit Vince and Morgan against each other, just
Yes.
like a little bit. You're trying to plant seeds about Lauren. You're also trying to pit Ava and Morgan against each other a little bit because, Ashley has told Ava that Morgan is the biggest threat that's remaining. And, in that case,
Correct.
in that case, she's being 100% truthful. And she's going and talking to Morgan and just reminding Morgan that Ava's going to put up Vince. So she's trying to make sure that, okay, we know that Ashley and Ava are kind of sort of working together,
Mhm.
but Ashley is really adopting this whole mantra right now of anyone other than me. If you guys just want to get rid of any other person that's not Ashley, I'm going to be okay with that. I will keep surviving. I think she doesn't want Morgan there at the end, but she's just going to take whatever path exists because she hasn't won a lot of competition. She doesn't have a lot of other choices.
Yeah, and this is, the philosophy of Wes, who was on, the challenge. We saw him on the Traders.
Yeah.
Traders was the first time I had ever seen him on anything, and he said that very specifically. He was like, anybody but me. That is my gameplay. Anybody but me. And I was like, wow, man, I'm impressed to hear anybody actually say that as bluntly as that, because that should be the gameplay. Anybody but me.
Who would have ever thought that Ashley would be inhabited by the spirit of Wes Bergman
know.
on Big Brother 27?
I
But
really enjoyed watching him on Traders.
Wes was wildly chaotic, but Ashley also had this little conversation with us, and she likes to do this, and we appreciate any time people talk to us on the feeds. And she basically was kind of bragging, but you do you, Ashley, and talking about how she's in good with basically anybody other than Lauren and Kelly at this point, and that just about anyone is going to want to take her to at least fairly far close to the end of the game.
Yeah, she's not wrong, and I appreciate that. She is the most improved player. I
Yes.
do understand she's being a little bit messy, but I do think it is strategic.
Yeah.
She is pitting people against each other, and nobody's paying attention to her.
It's just a really good spot to be in, especially entering a double eviction. Because
Yes.
this is when people are going to make decisions really, really fast.
Yep.
And I think because of that, Morgan and Vince are obviously two of the biggest threats. But then beyond all that, you basically then just look at the Keanus, the Avas, the Kellys, whoever goes, whoever survives. And like, those are all the people that are going to be front and center.
Yeah, I mean, going into this double, I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want to get out Vince. But if I was in this house, the person I need to get out is Morgan. Morgan's beating everybody. This move is so powerful, and every single person in the house knows. They
Yes.
know that she has been behind his HOH.
What's really funny is like for weeks now, Keanu has been just blatantly telling Vince that you're gonna finish in second place. You're just always
Yes.
gonna. I'm starting to believe him. At first I didn't. And I was just like, okay, Keanu, you're not beating Vince. But Vince has just played so just like disastrously over the past couple of weeks.
Tremendously bad the past few weeks.
like-
He started out so strong,
Yes.
but oh my God.
Okay, well, that is where we are with this edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. What do you guys make of this Vince and Morgan fight? Like, are they really going to make it to the end together? Or are they just setting themselves up to be picked off pretty much immediately?
Yeah.
Let us know. Hit that subscribe button and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. And thank you so much for your support. We will see you here next time.